We are live. Shuey, speak to me.
We are live, apparently.
Okay, so we have Shuey. He can speak. You can hear me. Right. This might be the first time the Rekin Krew's ever had a podcast start without any cock-ups.
You wait for it. You wait for everything to go to black.
All right. So, this is the Virtualy Rek't podcast, Season 1, Episode 5. I am PowerOnVR, and my esteemed colleague with the beautiful beard is PowerOnVR. So, what are you drinking today?
Oh, God, I'm not drinking today because I have been forced onto standby by my actual real-life job. So I've got Coke. I've got caffeine. Mac, what are you drinking that is probably much, much better than mine?
I am drinking a cheeky Sauvignon Blanc from France. Unusual. It's actually quite nice.
I like the fish label.
Yeah,
It looks pretty.
Yeah, it is great. Right, so something happened today or yesterday. So we need to talk about that straight away, don't we? So I'm going to have
100%.
I'm going to have a direct quote from Oculus, and it is this. We are currently investigating reports of account issues, including logouts and missing app libraries. Thanks for your patience while the team is working to resolve this issue. Now, you've been directly affected by this. So
yesterday morning, so Wednesdays are a big one for me, right? If I have a day off on a Wednesday, then that's an entire day because my wife works until like 7 p.m. The kids are out of the house because they're at the grandparents'. That is an entire day. Like, I'm talking 12 solid hours of recording, 12 solid hours of editing, anything I want. It's fantastic. So I end up having to go out, and I go out to my physiotherapist. Doesn't matter what for, but I go out and see him. And I am planning on being back to my house by 10 o'clock, right? So that's 9 hours that I have remaining.
yeah.
While I am sitting in my physiotherapist's office, I am checking to see, because a game company, a developer, wanted to have me added to their beta. So I'm searching and I can't find it. But I'm scrolling through on the app. I'm scrolling through and I am able to access my account. And by the time I got home, I was logged out of everything. And the reason I noticed I was logged out of everything is I had a little very suspicious email from PayPal, of all people, saying your billing information has been removed from the Facebook account of your choosing. Why would that be? So I start thinking, and I'm like, maybe it's been a year and it needs to be renewed. Fine. But I try and go into my headset. I've been logged out. I try and log in on my phone. I've been logged out. I try and log in on my PC. I've been logged out. Absolutely nothing, nowhere, not on Twitter, not on Reddit, not on anywhere could I find anything that said that there was something wrong with the servers. So I am freaking the fuck out because
Of what happened to me.
Yeah, because of what happened to Mac. The only saving grace is that I was able to log into my Facebook account. And I'm like, maybe, for some reason they have removed my Facebook, they've left my Facebook account but removed my Oculus. Maybe they have been so pissed off with all of the weird and wonderful games I've been playing that they decided, fuck you, Shuey, you are no longer a part of this VR community.
So
I am anxious.
I got this message yesterday from Shuey, and he said to me, think Facebook might be banning me. Everything is logged out. All my passwords aren't working. Even PayPal sent me an email to say they've cut my payment agreement. Now that's serious shit. Like, when PayPal sends you a message saying they've done that, your arse starts to twitch.
When a company that isn't directly integrated with Facebook starts telling you that Facebook have removed their account information for you, that is brown trousers time, my friend.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So where are you at the moment?
So I have now got access back to my account. I got access back this morning, luckily. So it was only a 24-hour period that I was actually banned from, which is great, except for the fact that I was meant to get loads and loads of recording done yesterday because I'm going away next week, and then there's not going to be any content on my channel this week. So, yeah, I'm a little bit pissed off, but at least I've got my stuff back. Here's the thing, though. this isn't a fixed issue. This issue is
No,
still going on to the
it
point
is.
where even in the last couple of hours, new people, not people from yesterday, new people have actually had their account removed from them. I mean, removed from them. So let me ask you this, Mac. What do you think is happening? I've got my theories, but I would like to know your theories.
Right. There's a lot of weird shit going on in the world at the moment. There's a lot of online data hacking and sort of cyber warfare going on. So maybe this is something to do with that. I don't know. You know, are people's Facebook account?
I'm going to go less suspicious than you on that one.
Well,
Mine does come with a little bit of conspiracy.
You got to remember. Hold on, we just perhaps they're testing the unlinking of Facebook accounts and making a mess of it. Yeah, that's actually a good point, AppG. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Right, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, AppG is correct. That is one of my theories.
Oh, is it really? Oh, excellent.
Yeah, no, it is one of my theories. It's like they mentioned in Oculus Connect last year that they were actually going to remove the necessity for Facebook to be a part of Oculus.
They did,
which is great. And it is possible that they are testing that. Why they would test it on thousands of people's accounts, I don't know. And if it was just a region thing, because Gamertag actually said he thought it might have been a region thing.
Yeah.
But it appears that that's not the case.
Right, okay.
My other theory...
Because he got banned as well. Well, not banned, but he lost his account,
locked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure what's happening, whether he's back or not. I haven't seen any updates from him.
No,
but that might just Twitter. Be me. As my other theory, and it's it's in the same vein, is that they are doing a mass migration of servers away from Europe.
Oh, okay, right. So this is a technical thing.
I think one of my possible theories, and it's not confirmed by any stretch of the imagination, but I've had a couple of friends say some things that are possible NDA type things that would indicate that possibly they are migrating certain parts of their servers away from the European sort of, or at least they're copying over parts possibly. Yeah. And I think they might have just made a big technical cock up on it.
Yeah, because when you do these things, yeah, these cock ups do happen. That's interesting. Yeah, I like the idea of that, because Tank did say, Andrew Bosworth, the head of Facebook Reality Labs, did say at the beginning of the year on Twitter that they were going to this whole Facebook meta thing, they were going to actually stop that, so you didn't have to link your accounts unless you wanted to, which in my case, why would you want to? But that's a separate issue. And he said it, and he said that it will happen at the beginning, at like early on this year. So this might be part of it.
They're making a fucking cock up if it is.
How have you ever known a big company not to fucking make a cock up when they make changes like this? Like, you know, I'm a gamer, and when I was massively into Destiny, and when Destiny said, "Oh, we're going to migrate the servers to do this so that blah 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 blah," and there was like a week where you couldn't play Destiny, and it was like a massive cock up, and you were like, "Did you not like try a little, you know, a couple of users first before you fucking put everybody onto these new servers?" So yeah, that theory, it wasn't Putin, it's probably just a migration.
I highly doubt it is a Russia thing, although there is the possibility that because of the Russia thing, they are trying to move away from Europe as much as possible, which and with everything that went on with certain parts of Europe essentially banning Facebook, which, let's face it, the hypocrisy on that one. Woo!
Yeah, I know. But like HB, obviously we have a Russian friend called HB, and he's convinced that he is going to disappear quite quickly from his like digital life, and part of that is banning of Facebook. But they've banned Facebook, but he hasn't been banned from his MetaQuest, so he can still play. So if you're watching HB, we'll see you.
Yeah, I mean, it is reasonably possible that although Facebook has been banned in Russia by Putin, there is possibility that without saying anything, Meta have actually unlinked all of the Russian accounts already.
Oh, right. Okay. That's a great theory. Yeah.
It's possible that that Russia is actually Meta's testing ground for this entire thing. Because what better time to do it?
So what you're saying is that Mark Zuckerberg started a war to
Not quite,
no, you're not
saying that. I'm saying that he is an amoral opportunist, is what I'm saying.
Right, so Surgical's just made a comment there, says HB had bad lag and got kicked off after the fall. Well, that might just be, that's probably a server thing. That's probably the Russian servers are getting shut down. So anyway, HB, if you're watching, give us a shout out, mate. We'd like to see what you have to say.
It's not related to VR, but have you heard that Tarkov might be becoming a target of all of this as well?
Really?
Just in gaming news, because Tarkov it's not like a big developer thing. It's not run by EA. It's not run by Bungie. It's not run by any of those guys. It is an individual company completely based in Russia. And guess where all the servers are located?
In Russia, obviously.
In Russia. So there is the possibility of no more Tarkov for the great people of the Earth, which doesn't bother me because it's not virtual reality. But I thought I'd just mention it while we were in that particular subject. There's something I wanted to quickly go over with you, Mac, as part of the podcast.
Okay.
And it's to do with what Serge has just said.
Right,
or what Serge said originally, sorry, which was just got off of 2 Horde mode levels and using the new Magnum on After the Fall, right?
Okay.
We do our podcast on a Thursday.
We do.
What also happens on a Thursday?
Every single game gets released on a Thursday.
Which is a two-edged sword, because although we can be one of the first people to actually say, "Oh yeah, we've looked at this. Isn't this great? This is coming out today." At the same time, guess what I wanted to be doing tonight?
Playing After the Fall. Same as me.
Playing After the Fall.
Right. So, in the comments, should we move the podcast to Monday? Because I stream on Monday and I do the podcast on Thursday every other week with you, obviously.
Yeah.
So should we do the podcast on Monday and then play the games that get released on the Thursday? There's a thought.
Stream them.
Now.
Yeah, it's starting to sound like this is going to be less of a vote and more of a this is a good decision.
Yeah, it looks like the podcast is going to be moving from Thursday to Monday. So there might not be. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a great idea.
For that, actually, the other thing that will be good for that is that, fingers crossed, when I actually get up to date with converting these over to actual podcasts, which I am in the middle of, by the way, people. For those of you who want to listen to us while you drive to work,
he's doing that. He's doing that, not me, because I'm not technical enough.
Yeah, I am doing it. I am halfway through doing it. I promise. And because I'm actually away next week, I'm going to take my laptop and I'm going to have hours and hours and hours to edit this shit. So, so yeah, hopefully we're going to have that. So if we actually do it on a Monday, I might actually have time to be able to get it ready for the weekend in order for you guys to have it as a drive to work type podcast for the Monday. So that sounds like a plan. We will look into it more.
But we've already made the decision,
so that we can recap.
Yeah, and we've already made the decision, so yeah, that's going to happen. I mean, I don't care because I'm retired, so I'll just do whatever you want to do.
I think Monday will work. I think
it will. Yeah. So
yeah. So what do you want to talk about next, Mac?
Can you guess?
Ooh, I think you want to talk about very specific weapon loadouts in Onward.
Yeah, okay. I'm still I'm still banned on Facebook. Okay. So this is like 15 days now, and Facebook say if your account is disabled for 31 days, then it gets disabled permanently. So I'm quite getting close to that sort of threshold, right? Now, I would like to give a big shout out to Paradise Decay I'd like to give a big shout out to Gamertag. I'd like to give a big shout out to Mike from VRO. I'd like to give mostly I'd like to give a big shout out to Steve Knows, because he's like been in contact with me every single day practically since I got banned, and he's actually, his meta contact got my Mac in VR Facebook business page reinstated. Unfortunately, I can't log into it because my main Facebook account is still banned.
Is that where the confusion came on Twitter earlier today?
Yes, because what happened was people said, oh, Mac in VR is back on Facebook. Unfortunately, I am Mac in VR. I can't log on to Facebook to get access to my Mac in VR business account. So that was the problem. So all those people I've mentioned, thank you very much. The community, when these things happen and you post videos about them, you get a lot of negativity sometimes. But like in my experience so far, what's happened is it's all been like 100% positive. Everybody's supported me. All these YouTubers who I've just had Twitter conversations with, don't really know them. They've all like messaged me, and it's incredibly positive. And it's not like, oh, I'm a bigger YouTuber than you, so fuck you. It's like they've genuinely said to me, oh wow, has this happened? Oh, how can I help? I'm an Oculus ambassador. How can I help you? And it's really heartwarming. And it's been a positive experience. Can I put that on it?
The thing is, right, is this is an odd one for me, because I'm about to say something and I'm genuinely not taking the piss. It actually does bring a tear to the eye, doesn't it? Because I've seen like the rallying around you for what's going on with this, with some of the biggest VR YouTubers. Yeah. And that's fucking fantastic. That even, I'm a littler guy than you, but even the little guys like you, the 10Kers, they are paying attention to it. They understand that as a community, we need to hold our own.
They do.
Especially in the face of like the oppression and it is oppression, in my opinion, of the overlords.
It is. Right, so the very first person to reach out to me was Paradise Decay. So, he watches the podcast. He does watch our streams. I massively appreciate what he did. And he said, I'm an Oculus ambassador. I'll reach out to my Meta contact. And then Steve Knows did, and Gamertag did, and Mike as well. So like and you think like I'm tiny, like compared to some of these guys. My channel is like this big and they're like that big, but it's just that lovely warmth and how can we help attitude. And it's like it's just wonderful. It is. It was just like my experience on Twitter so far, apart from what Facebook have done to me, is overwhelmingly positive, and it's just so nice. It's just all the stuff that's going on in the world, and then you have all these lovely people trying to help you. So yeah, there you go. So
this is probably the most humble you will ever see Mac, by the way.
Because he's a massive ego. Massive!
Easily the most humble you will see Mac. But, well,
no, we
talked right context.
We talked about this. Why would you want to be on YouTube unless you have a massive ego? And I don't know whether we said it on stream or whether we talked about it offline, but yeah, like, why are you putting yourself out there?
You definitely have to have an ego. You definitely have to have some small amount of narcissism in order to be a YouTuber, in the same vein as us.
That's the word, narcissism. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I met someone today, another YouTuber, and I accidentally met him. And the weird thing is that I'd accidentally met his son a couple of days earlier. And we got to talking, and he was genuinely one of the nicest blokes that I have met in a long, long time. And the conversation I had with him oh God, he makes me think of, even though he's got a bigger channel than me,
Yeah.
he made me feel, he sounded like I felt 6 months ago on the channel.
Oh,
Like,
right,
still
okay.
full of wonder with it all. And I really want to go back to that. I really want to be like, oh my God, this company sent me a key. Because genuinely, that feeling of like glee that somebody is taking notice of you is fantastic. And the fact that this guy was still in that sort of part, even with him, like he had double the subscribership I did. He like I can't remember his name is Clipster. I need to find his YouTube channel because I'd really like to shout that guy out because he is just so much fun. He was so much fun.
Well, get him on the podcast then. Get him on the podcast.
I plan to. I plan to get many more other YouTubers onto the podcast.
Surgical's the first though.
Yeah, no, Surge needs to come on here. We need to have that boy on here ASAP, but obviously not on a Thursday when After the Fall has just released a new update.
So we might be swapping to a Monday. So,
in case you guys want to know who he is on YouTube, his name is Fun with the Clicks.
Go and subscribe.
While having a look, yeah,
go and
definitely
subscribe.
Worth subscribing to that guy. He is a lot of fun.
So I would also like to say, if you aren't subscribed, subscribe to Paradise Decay, subscribe to Gamertag, subscribe to Steve Knows, subscribe to Mike. I mean, Mike doesn't need the subscribers. He's like 500,000, you know, he's like up there. But when going back to After the Fall, we were in the beta and we dropped into a room and Mike was there. So we were like, oh, invite. And he came across and we played a game and he's exactly as you expect him to be, which is a good thing. He was lovely and friendly and he was fucking good as well, you know, which kind of helped us. So, yeah, go and subscribe to all those people. And Power On, obviously. And me. Don't forget about me.
I was going to say, if you're not subscribed to Mac already, that's an interesting one that you're still here. But you should definitely be hitting that subscribe button. If not,
link in the description.
The rest of those guys, I would imagine that a lot of you probably found us, or at least Mac, from some of the clips afterwards. Oh, you might be interested in this type videos.
Yeah, Beardo Benjo as well. Sorry, I'd like to. Obviously, Gamertag, Beardo.
Oh yeah,
Mike,
they're all just legends in their own right at this point, aren't they?
Yeah,
and so many of them are British.
I know, it's amazing. It's amazing. Like, I know this sounds really weird. This is going to sound really weird, but Beardo Benjo has a voice that I would like him to read me a bedtime story. Not actually be in the room because that'll be a bit weird. His voice.
I kind of want him to be in the room.
His voice. Okay. All right. His voice is chocolate. His voice is just pure chocolate. He's got such, and I think that's part of the appeal of him is that he's got such a nice manner, and his voice is just amazing. So that's why I watch Beardo Benjo. I like Gamertag because he's like jacked.
Just out of interest, I'd like to throw this out to the chat as well, because I'd like to see who can do it. Other than BMFVR, what other American VR YouTubers can you name? Like big guys. I'm talking like 50k plus type guys.
Oh right, I've got two straight away, and they're two big guys. Thrill Seeker and Nathy. They're the guys I watch.
Nathy's not American.
Oh no, he's Dutch, isn't he?
He's Dutch. He's European. This is why I threw it out to the Americas, because I was counting the UK, despite Brexit, as essentially being EU. Okay, so as far as VR is concerned, just in the US, yes, I'll go with Thrill. Obviously, Thrill. I always forget about Thrill because obviously I genuinely don't watch enough of his videos.
Oh, Bradley. Sadly, it's Bradley. I love Sadly, it's Bradley. Yeah, Brad, and he was actually in the podcast. Remember a couple of weeks ago.
A couple of weeks ago, yeah.
He actually turned up, and I had
Eric for President's one.
Oh yeah, another one. I had a nerdgasm when Bradley turned up mine, didn't I? Because you said to me, I was like, oh! You said no. I know what you're going to say. Yeah, Eric for President. No, Eric for President's a weird one because he went off on a bit of a tangent, didn't he? And he's only really come back about 6 months ago.
I didn't know him before 6 months ago.
Okay,
so,
well, so
I only know him as what he is now.
Right. So I think what he did, right? I don't know much about him. His name's Eric Morales. I think he's I think he's a veteran. So he basically about a year ago said, I'm not going to make any money from my channel. I'm going to make it non-profit, and I'm going to donate all my money to like veterans, like, you know, mental health and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
And then about 6 months ago, he reappeared and made his channel a bit more commercial. So I'm assuming that like the monetary stuff overcame the, you know, what he wanted to do in real life, which was to support veterans. So yeah. So anyway, it is understandable. And I said to my wife at the time, I told her what he'd done, and I was like, wow, that's incredible. Because I mean, he was like 50,000-60,000 subscribers, and you know, you think, well, you must be making about that much money, and you're going to donate it every month to charity. That's a really powerful thing to do. But then unfortunately life gets in the way.
Yep, as it does so many times.
So I think he's kind of gone back to being a bit more commercial, which I'm absolutely fine with. I love him, you know. Bang. I love that ending he has on his videos.
Yeah. I actually, because of him, I've been looking about, and I want you guys to weigh in on this for my channel, if you wouldn't mind at some point, whether it's on here or DM me, whatever you want. I have been getting a lot of hatred for my green screen, okay? A lot of hatred for it.
Really?
Yeah, specifically the image that I use, but just green screens in general. Now, I'm not going to stop using a green screen because my office is basically a big fucking green screen. So I'm not going to stop using green screens for now. Not until I get my new extension on the house and get my office, my studio built and everything. And even then, it's going to be half green screen. So until then, I'm going to have to use some form of green screen imagery. Now, this obviously doesn't make for very good audio if I change this to the audio podcast. But for those of you who've seen any of my videos, this is the green screen I use on my videos currently. And this is obviously not my setup because
it's pretty good.
I do not have thousands and thousands of pounds to spend on a setup like this. I will eventually, and it will look fucking gorgeous. But this had the colors that I was looking for, and it's what my dream setup would basically look like. So Eric for President, he uses like a moving starscape.
Yeah.
When he does his new stuff. And I tried a few of those today. I tried a few of them on a video. And my wife came in and she was just like, I'm not focusing on you. I'm focusing on the background.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, that's probably a good thing for a lot of reasons, but not for the right ones, because I need people to concentrate on what I'm saying in my damn videos.
Because I'm an egotist.
Exactly. So I've gone back to using this. But if any of you have a better idea of what I could be using, or if you like the idea of there being, go and check out Eric for President's videos and tell me what you think of his sort of backgroundy thing, because I wouldn't mind something like that, a bit more geometry based.
Right. Okay. I was like going back to BMFVR. I was watching one of his videos, and I thought, oh, that set that he's built is amazing, because he has like the two posters and the headsets on the shelf and everything like that. That's a green screen.
Yeah, you can tell that you weren't wearing your glasses that day.
Yeah, that's a green screen. And one day I realised, fuck, that's a green screen. And I thought, that's just a very, very professional green screen. And that's actually why I changed my green screen at the time. It's... Again, we're going through the evolution. I've actually changed my background and green screen for my last video, not the last video, the video before. So it's you have to evolve. You have to evolve. I like when I watch your videos, that background I think is pretty cool. I quite like it, but then, like, I'm used to it because I watch all your videos, so I expect
this
that.
is it. It's the same with you. Like, I could see the homage of your background and the evolution of your channel to what BMF had done, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a great idea because it clearly states what you're about, where you are, and that you're directly in the middle of it, right?
Yeah.
And you're the concentration thing. And if they look around it, they can get a little bit of information, but it always comes back to you. And I think that's great. I think that's a perfect way of doing the green screen.
Yeah.
And the way that I've looked at doing my background is that occasionally I stick like a Gaussian blur on it in order to, and for those of you who don't know about editing, Gaussian blur.
This is a Gaussian.
Have you got a Gaussian blur on it?
I've got a Gaussian blur. Right. So if I do this.
Oh yeah, you have, don't you?
Hold on a second.
Sorry, I'm not looking at the podcast when I'm podcasting.
Okay, of course you don't do. You're looking at right. So this is basically what you're seeing. So this background, that's actually a green screen. So, but this is my setup. I actually do have this setup here. I'm actually looking at it. It's actually behind me.
Yeah, he's not
in the
lying
video.
Like me.
It's actually like this. This is my setup. So what I do is I took a photograph and I put a Gaussian blur over it. I put it in my background, and this is actually a green screen. So I turn the green screen off. There you go. If I turn the... what can I turn off to make you see that? Oh, the podcast background. Right. There you go. Turn the podcast background off. This is a green screen. Now I need to turn it all back on.
Magic.
Magic. It's magic. Yeah, so it's all magic. It's a green screen. So Shuey's green screen is really good. I mean, that you took a long time to do that, didn't you?
Yeah, it did take this was made before my gimping editing had come on a little bit, but it did take an absolute ball ache worth of time to get done.
It did, yeah, but it's pretty good. I mean, considering where you are, I mean, you got to remember I'm old and I'm fucking rich, so I've got like a man cave. No, it's true. Yeah, I'm not. You're just a fetus. And I'm old, so I've got the big PC, I've got the man cave, I've got the big green screen behind me there. That is all like a massive green screen. It's like my room is like 5 meters by 5 meters. It's all green screen. So what you're doing is like you're doing it on the cheap, which is kind of annoying because it looks
I am having to do everything on the cheap at the moment.
It looks just as good as mine. That's really annoying.
To be fair, right? I have learned most of what I do, and this is kind of sounds like I'm just licking ass at this point. But I use your channel and what you do as a bar for where I am.
Oh, okay.
And I have done for ages. I've done that for ages. And there are several other channels that I do the same thing for. Like people like Mike and Nathan and things. I ain't competing with their level of money. That's just not something that's happening. No. But several other people I can kind of compete with.
Yeah, absolutely,
not even compete with, but just copy. Let's just call it for what it fucking is. Copying.
No. I know you. You're competitive, right? I played Walkabout Golf with you, and you were like, you turned from lovely, cuddly Shuey into fucking some horrible golf twat.
Yeah, no, I am a competitive twat. This is something that's going to be known and happen, and keep happening because that's just who I am.
If anybody doesn't know, we played Walkabout Mini Golf on Monday. Unfortunately, Shuey got turned out. You got called out about 40 minutes in, didn't you? But it was like, I saw you were like an onion that just got peeled away, and there was like the nice Shuey. Then underneath there was like the business Shuey. Then underneath that there was the competitive Shuey, and competitive Shuey was a twat because competitive Shuey wanted to win every single hole.
And underneath that layer is just pure, unadulterated black clothing.
I'll tell you what, mate. I had such a good time. We have to play Walkabout Golf every week. We have to stream it every week because it was so good. It was so much fun.
100%. I love that game. And I'll tell you what, right? What we'll do one night, I'll even persuade Mrs. Shuey to come and play with us because she loves golf and she's
right.
competitive as me.
I'll not invite my wife because like she's never played VR. She's never played VR, so she'll be just like,
You had my other wife there, who's now in the channel, Mr. Henry.
Henry, how you doing, mate? Where's Wachu? Wachu was annoying, right? Because I was about to take a putt, and his fucking head came out of the... Do you remember that? His head came out of the hole. And I was like, Wachu, what are you doing? And he was like, and I missed my shot. I mean, if you were playing proper golf, that would be like... That would just be... Like,
oh, there's Wachu. He's just...
There he is! See, he's waiting! He was waiting until we mentioned him. Git.
Wait until he could pop his head out of the nowhere.
So what I've decided I'm going to do, like, it was going to be the Monday stream, but the Monday stream might become the Monday podcast. But the Thursday stream, I was going to do like a highlight of the stream, because there was so much stuff that happened in that 2.5 hours that was so funny. And a lot of it was Wachu sticking his fucking head out of that bastard hole. It was just, oh, man. I actually went to bed and I woke up next morning, my stomach was sore. That's how much fun it was.
Yeah, we need to do more stuff like that. I would like to do more walkabout mini golf. I'd like to try out Forever Bowling with the group at some point.
Oh, yeah,
maybe some Forever Darts. There are plenty of games like that I would love to do more streaming of with everybody. What else have we got to talk about there, Mac? We've gone off on a sort of self-indulgent tangent.
As we do, because that's the way we are.
As we do.
Right, Virtuoso. Virtuoso, right.
I got offered a key for Virtuoso, and I apologise to the devs if you're watching. That I didn't get back to you. I have emailed you tonight, mainly because I saw Mac's video and it was amazing, and I really want to play it. But as I've pointed out to them in the past, because they know that I've done previous videos on it when it was still on SideQuest, I am tone deaf as fuck.
Yeah. Right, so my problem is I am a 50-year-old white guy with no rhythm. But I what you still want to be a pop star, don't you? You still remember, like Duran Duran and like Spandau Ballet, and you think, oh, I could have done that. I could have done that. So what Virtuoso is, and it's like we've got to strip away the outer layers. What Virtuoso is it's basically a music creator game in VR. So they have like 6 instruments, which are, you do the tutorial and you know exactly what they do, right? The tutorial is amazing, right? It's like A, B, C, next instrument, A, B, C. And you're like, oh, that's genius. And and they have a microphone. So there might have been some singing in my video, as you know. There was a whole section of singing in the video, which I decided not to include in the video.
Oh,
but
you should have kept it in.
No, you do not want to hear me singing Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer. But
just so that we've got this clear in the chat, I would like to put a vote out. Who would have liked to have seen Max in Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer? Because hand up in the air.
We'll just like you just don't care. Right. Fuck off. Virtuoso, right? So I've got no musical talent at all. Like, I can't play any instruments. I can't play the drums. I've got no rhythm. I've got fuck all. I spent 5 or 6 hours playing that game, and it was just magical. It's like one of those things that it's just like the developers, it's just right. There's nothing they've done that is wrong. Everything is right. It just works. You go in, you do the tutorial, and you understand, right, if you want to move something, you just push the grip button and you move it. Boom. So you can put a drum there, you can put the organ there, you can put the you can just, it's just intuitive, perfectly intuitive. And I have no musical talent at all, but I had a fucking blast. I did the drums, boom, sh, boom, boom, sh, boom, 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 and then I put a beep, 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 beep over the top of it, and then I put a woo through the harp, and then it sounded shit, so I just deleted the harp and started again. But in the video, I actually said there's a cover of Blinding Lights, right? Done in Virtuoso. It was so good, I couldn't put it in the video because I would have got...
That was something I wanted to ask you about, because there were several other songs that you put in there, like Pendulum, for instance, right? And straight away, like, I heard that because I turned my back to go and do something else, and I heard it, and I was just like, how is he not getting demonetized for this?
Right, so because it's not... It's like different. It was... You could tell in... So, it's really horrible, but the songs that I actually showed in the video, I knew I wouldn't get demonetized because they weren't close enough. But the Blinding Lights one that I didn't show, wow, that was incredible. It was like proper din, 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 and I was like, that's so good, I can't actually put it in the video. And it was so good, I couldn't have put it in the video. And that was done in Virtuoso. So, like, some twat like me who has like no musical could do the dum 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 and then put like a synth over the top of that. Somebody who's good at stuff like that. I mean, we've got friends in our community who are musicians. If they got Virtuoso, my God, they could do so much. And you can also put vocals on, because if you get the microphone, you can actually sing, and you can control reverb, and you can like control the volume of your mic. So if you're using like a decent microphone, like we both are, the Antlion, like the quality of this Antlion. If you're watching,
for all your audio needs.
But we're not sponsored. I bought it off
The really ridiculous thing, right? The really ridiculous thing is that right there, the guy that used to do their marketing, I had a really good relationship with that Lions marketing team.
Yeah.
And the guy that was heading it up recently left, and I am gutted.
Oh, no.
Because I was really hoping to speak to them about actually having them as sponsors for the podcast.
Oh, of course.
So that's annoying.
Yeah. So anyway, Virtuoso, it's not a game. Can I recommend it? I had a blast. I'm not a musician. If you're a musician, like, there was a lot of stuff in there that I didn't understand. There was like a MIDI deck. So there's a lot of stuff you could do and tune, and, you know, it's way over my head for depth. But, I don't know. I just wanted, you know, that thing with the fish tank. Ooh, whoa, 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 whoa. That was just...
What really got me about watching the video of you doing it, and as well as when I tried it out way back when for like the side quest, when it was really in its infancy, some of the instruments on there cannot exist in real life.
No, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. Like the organ. So the thing about the organ was, right, so it was all button related. So if you were talented, you would grip you would trigger, you could move left and right. And then if you B, you can move in and out. And then if you gripped, you could move up and down. But you could change the note that you were playing by pressing all three buttons at the same time. And then if you let go of a button, it would change the note again. So, yeah, it's like if you were like a concert pianist who was like a maestro, and you gave somebody like that I had index controllers. What could they do? What could they do? It's like, it's beyond a piano. Like,
well, we've got someone in the chat, the Horror Sheet Show, saying that Virtuoso is amazing and he plays a few instruments at basic levels and he loves looping stuff, and like he's loving it. Like somebody who actually has some form of sort of musical talent to any degree, I imagine is going to absolutely devour Virtuoso. I've got a few friends that don't play VR that I'm planning on showing Virtuoso purely for that reason.
Yeah, I've got so story. I've got a friend who's in a band and he's a drummer. He's also a music instructor, and he is amazing, right? And he's going to hate me for saying this. He was in a band, and there was a support band, and the support band turned up, and they said, "Oh, our drummer hasn't turned up. Can you help us?" And he went, "Oh yeah, what's your set?" And they said, "Oh, ABC," and he was like, "I've never played them before." And he sat down. He went, "What is it?" And he went, "Boom," and he went, "Oh, okay, boom," and he played their set blind, right? Just literally off the back of his, because he's so good. He was just like, give me the beat, boom, 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 okay, boom, and you wouldn't have known that he wasn't their drummer. So what I want to do is I want to get him in to play Virtuoso, and I want to set his drums up the way he has them, and then I'm going to make another video where a musician plays Virtuoso, and he also plays guitar, and he also plays bass, and he also does vocals.
Oh, people eat that shit up on YouTube, man. Have you ever seen, you've seen like 1,000 ones where it's like, oh, gym coach tries out Supernatural, and ex-SAS Marine jumps into Onward.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, genuinely, he's like a musical prodigy. And I've known him since we were like 20. So that's 35 years of my life. So anyway, right. You want to talk about Knock?
I do, but beforehand, I just want to say a couple of things for the chat. Obscure Nerd VR, thank you for joining us, my dude. I'm a big fan of your videos, actually, so I'm a huge... I'm really happy that you've turned up. Thank you very much for being here. Laszlo216, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic by Arthur C. Clarke.
That's right.
That is the quote that I was trying to think of the entire time we were talking about magic and green screens. So thank you for actually putting it up on screen and not having me look like a complete moron by saying the wrong thing. HB, thank you.
Yay! HB's here. How you doing, fella?
I'm really happy he's here because it means that this is going to sound... No, I'm not actually going to say it because that's way too maudlin. HB, how's it going, man?
If anybody doesn't know HB, he's Russian, so we were worried about him because they're basically getting closed down. So we were concerned. We're concerned about you, bro.
But you are right. We are about to talk about Knock and...
Knock, right. I'm so annoyed. I missed out on this. And then I watched your video. It was just a short, like a Twitter video, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was like one of the TikToks that I just put on Twitter anyway.
And I missed it, and I was like, that is Rocket League in VR. So, apologies. Tell me about Knock.
For any of you that have played Half and Half, which is a free game, by the way, in VR, and it's incredibly fun. And Mac, we really should play that with a couple of the viewers at some point, because it is free and it is incredibly fun, even though it looks very, very sort of kid-friendly and childlike. Genuinely, it is just... It's kind of magical how it works. Like, there is lots... You've got these weird sort of gangly, like, paint-looking people... Excuse me. And they, like, you have a big guy who's searching around and all the other people are playing hide and seek, but they're all, like, this big compared to, like, the main guy who's seeking, and you can fly around on kites and all sorts of things. Well, anyway, the developers, Normal VR, have released Knock, and I only found out about this game about 4 or 5 days ago, and luckily they gave me one of their beta keys. Oh, my God! I didn't know what to expect, and when I loaded it up, first of all, the soundtrack blows my mind because it's... I'm a metalhead at heart, but I do love some R&B and bass and dance and anything really heavily synth, right? And it's all about that. And then I played it, and honestly, I don't generally like archery in VR. It just doesn't do anything for me. I've tried it, and at first I was like, oh, I can pull a bow back, and then afterwards I was like, yeah, I like archery in real life, but cannot stand it in VR.
All right.
Then I tried this.
Did you not play in Death Unchained?
I did, and it didn't do anything for me. And that's going to bring hatred. Pure hatred.
Right, okay. You're lost to me, but you can carry on.
The thing is, I've played a lot of archery games in VR. I have, and none of them really do it for me. But the thing that does it for me with this is that the archery for this is actually kind of secondary to me, even though you're going to be doing more of that than anything else. The idea of Knock is that you're in a Rocket League type arena where there are 2 goals and there is a big fuck off ball in the middle that falls down from the ceiling, and it's all kind of crazy. The physics are done really, really well, and the arena is done so that it slopes up and round at the top. Kind of think like you're very stereotypical. Do you remember watching the Simpsons episode with the Max, the Apple store, and how that sort of looked like a big glass building? It's kind of like that. Anyway, you have a bow and arrow, and the important thing about that is that depending on how hard you pull back and release, depends on how much energy is actually transferred over to the ball, and the ball can move at different speeds.
Okay.
Now, you don't have an infinite supply of arrows. You actually have to collect them, otherwise you'll simply run out.
Okay, that's interesting.
And they're dotted throughout the arena, so I run out of them constantly, and it drives me insane. So you have to plan that into your sort of plan of attack, as it were.
Right.
And that adds an element to it. And the other thing is if you get the ball rolling fast enough so that it turns red and it becomes angry, and it hits into the opposing player, that actually knocks them out for a solid 5 seconds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but here's the thing. You can hit it with your body. You can actually like run up to it and knock it. So if you try and do that, and then the energy gets transferred and you get knocked out, that's pretty much lights out. That's a goal for them.
Oh, that sounds cool. It's like a lovely sort of win. Like what they call it, the risk reward. Yeah, risk reward. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, exactly. I played against. I haven't played that much this week. I've played when I can, and the people I've played against, unfortunately, have been like the top 5 of the frickin' leaderboards. So I played against a guy called Dreads today, and he is #1 in the world right now.
Yeah.
And literally, the first I counted it, I went back and watched the video. It took him less than 2 seconds to score his first goal on me. He literally just went bang, bang, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I also played against this other guy called Lemony Thomas, who's this 13-year-old guy, and he is absolutely phenomenal at the game. He's such a good laugh.
But it's like Population 1, you know, like obviously you've got to say like Surgical is this, you know, Surgical is like he plays all the time. He's very, really good. I mean, I used to play as much as he did. And now I'm like, you see him playing and you're like, he's just like, knock, bang, okay, grenade, whoosh, shotgun, bum, bum, right, they're down, move on. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even manage to load my MP5 while he was doing that. So that's the kind of, yeah, that's what I like. I like a game that's easy to learn and hard to master. I think that's
Knock is definitely that. Like I mean, the learning curve is literally, can you pull it back and release it so that the arrow goes towards the ball? That's the learning curve.
Yeah.
But when it comes to when it comes to mastering that game, it's a whole different kettle of fish. The thing is that you move when you grab the grip button on your bow hand, on your sort of off hand.
Yeah.
And swing it. That's what causes the movement, and you can get some really, really high speeds in this. And with your right hand, if you hold the grip button, you can launch yourself off the ground. So this is because it's low gravity as well, so that when you're in the air, you kind of float down.
Okay.
So once again, it's a risk reward thing. If you want to get close to the ball that's gone up into the air and you launch yourself into the air, you may end up with a really good shot going down into their goal, but it's going to take you time to get back to the floor where you actually have full momentum again.
Okay. So is this like, does this remind you of Lone Echo? Have you played Lone Echo?
I have played Lone Echo, and here's the thing. A lot of people on my TikTok videos about Knock, which there have been several, have been fairly sort of, oh, I wouldn't pay $10 for this game. Why don't you just go play Lone Echo? This game isn't fucking Lone Echo. Lone Echo is a whole different game, and it's a good game.
Yeah, it is. It's a great game.
It's not as fast-paced as this. Don't get me wrong, Lone Echo can be incredibly fast-paced, and it can be slow-paced, but it is not anything like this. This is a whole different game.
Well, I think it's why Rocket League has been so popular, because it's one of those things like you got a car, there's a ball, you drive the car at the ball, you try and get it in the goal, but that's like the meta. But the skill level is, you see the good guys who are playing Rocket League and they're incredible. So that's what, I mean, you said to me in a message on Discord, you said, I've been playing Knock for an hour and I'm fucking knackered.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a hugely energetic workout because your arms are not used to, like, try and hold your arm out. Just hold it out in front of you for 10 minutes. Because if you do that for an hour, your arm is going to kill. My shoulders are really painful because I've played an hour today. Yeah, I know, Mr. I'm not going to show you mine because too much of my muscle, hangs down here.
I spend too much time at the gym, so there you go. And that's actually my wife's fault. My wife's like,
see, I don't
come to the gym.
I don't do gyms. Anyway.
Oh no!
Seconds.
Okay, right. So what we were going to talk about next was Nerf Ultimate Championship. So the sign up for the beta has actually just happened. If you want to sign up for the beta, go to, I think it's, hold on, I'm just going to check my phone. 2 seconds. So if you want to go to the beta, you need to go to Upload VR. And they have an article where you can sign up for the beta for Ultimate Championships. Now, so I think this is going to be a hero shooter. I think this is going to be like Larcenauts. But Nerf, that's a big company, right? They are not going to want what happened to Larcenauts to happen to them. So I think that this launch is going to be really good. I think this beta is going to be very professional. I've submitted my application. I'm a YouTuber, so I'll probably get in. From what I've seen, it looks quite slick. So I'm going to do this comparison to Larcenauts. And Larcenauts had a lot of potential. That's the word I'm going to use. I was so looking forward to Larcenauts. On the date released, I was like, nah, this is bad. It was like laggy. And like, if you're going to do a hero shooter or you're going to do any kind of competitive multiplayer game, you need to get your servers sorted out like right from day one, right? Because if somebody plays your game and they're shooting at somebody and they're lagging away from you, then you're going to go, I'm not going to play this game again because like it's rubbish. So on the very first day that Larcenauts launched, it was terrible. About a week later, we went back. There'd been an update. I got a team together. We were like, all right, okay, we'll just play this. It was good. It was actually really good. They'd sorted out the stutter. We had it was me, Face, Surgical. I can't remember who else was there, but it was really good. And we had a great time. You came up against these teams who were a lot better than you, but you were like, yeah, I can see why they're better than us, but I think we can still fight back against them. So what Nerf needs to do from the start is it needs to get that server right. It needs to get rid of that lag. It needs to get rid of that stuttering. It needs to get rid of the poor gun mechanics. It needs to get... There's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm quite excited for Nerf because I think it's what Larcenauts could have been. And if they have if they have classes, like a heavy class, a sniper class, a light class, a healer, then that's going to be, they're going to balance it really well. So yeah, I'm really excited for Nerf. I've signed up. Shuey's going to sign up. Sign up. Go to Upload VR and, do the thing. Right. The other thing we were going to talk about was, because it doesn't look like Shuey's coming back. The other thing we were going to talk about is Gabe Newell. Right. If you don't know who Gabe Newell is, hold on. Just checking the chat. Blade and Sauce. The Hoary Sheet Show says Blade and Sauce is my gym. I know, it's amazing. Yeah, so, Hoary, what happened with Last Knots was there was a very small group of people who played it a lot. So if you were a new player, you would come up against these teams that would just rip you apart. And it's not fun. So after a couple of months, we went back to Last Knots and we had a team. And we ran into a team that had all these massive high-level players, and they just tore through us. Now, being the kind of guys we are, we actually worked out what they were doing, and we actually managed to beat them a couple of times. But as a new player, if you dropped into that environment, it wasn't fun. And that was the problem with Last Knots, is that from day one, you were coming up against guys who were hugely experienced, and you just got fucking decimated. I don't know. I wish they got it right. I played Last Knots. I've had a bit of fun with it. Nah, I'm sorry. I'm done. Right, so Gabe Newell of Valve. I'm gonna have to read this. Valve's Gabe Newell says most people talking about Metaverse right now have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Newell made the comments to PC Gamer in an interview surrounding the release of the Steam Deck last month. There's a bunch of get-rich-quick schemes around the Metaverse. Most of the people who are talking about Metaverse absolutely have no idea what they are talking about, and apparently they've never played an MMO. And that's the most important thing that he said there, right? The Metaverse will be an MMO. So if you've ever read this book, give me a second. And I keep going back to this book. Every single time we start talking about this stuff, I keep going back to this book. This is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. If you haven't read it and you're into VR, you need to go and read it. Don't watch the film. The film is garbage. The book is incredible. So what Ernest Cline does in this book is he basically says what the Metaverse is going to be. And what the Metaverse is, it's a big open world where you can go anywhere, you can do anything, and you can be anybody. Right? So Parzival, who's the main character in it, he's living in a slum. He basically lives in a trailer with his, I think it's his aunt and uncle. He's got no money, he's got no freedom, he's got nothing. But he goes to a school in the Metaverse, but because he's so low level, he can't travel. So you have to quest to build your level. This is the MMO thing that... Hey, he's back!
Right. I have avoided having to leave. I am actually back.
Can you guess what I'm talking about?
You're talking about one of my favourite books read by one of my favourite people.
Right. So, if you're into VR, you need to read this book. This was written in 2012, mind. Right? Before all this crap happened. So, Ernest Cline is a fucking genius. So, just to fill you in, I was just talking about Parzival and the fact that he had nothing and he had to quest to build his character up. And what Gabe Newell said was, most of the people who are talking about Metaverse have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, and they've never played an MMO. That's
And
Gabe.
he's right.
That's Gabe Newell. So my version, Mike, this is my Bible, right? I totally believe in what Ernest Klein is talking about there. The metaverse, to me, is a series of worlds, and it's like 80s world. It's 80s arcade world. It's 70s Dungeons and Dragons book world. And you go where you want, and you decide who you want to be, and you don't have any restrictions on what you do. Which is why I have such a big problem with Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse.
Because it's restrictive as fuck.
Going back to my ban, if, for example, I'm going to use Zenith as an example. So if, for example, Zenith becomes what I think Zenith is going to become in a year's time, and you've spent a year playing Zenith, and you're a level 40, and you've got this cool armor, and you just walk in and you just go, poo, poo, and you spent all that time investing in that character, and then Facebook, unrelated to Zenith, bans you, and you lose access to your Meta Quest 2, and then your character is gone. Gone. Right? 31 days later, disabled, fucking gone. Which is it is a situation I'm in right now. But again, it is actually relevant because I've invested 12 years of my life in Facebook. People might criticize me for that. My Facebook's vanilla. It's boring. It's basically me and my wife and my dog out walking and in a pub, right? How anybody could be offended by that, I've got no fucking idea at all. But I got banned. I didn't even get banned from Facebook. My account was disabled, right? No recourse, disabled, gone. 12 years of your life, fucking gone. If we go back to this, imagine if you put 12 years of your life into a character. Yeah? Imagine if you put 12 years of your life into Parzival or H or Artemis or even Sorrento.
It's not just the character, though, is it? It's because in that book, the in-game currency is essentially the RL currency.
Exactly, yeah.
So losing access to your account essentially loses you access to your actual funds. Now, the way they get around this in the book to an extent is that there are different accounts in different places, and you end up having to essentially do things in a very sort of offshore kind of way in order to make sure that your stuff is safe. But even so,
I mean, there's a whole bit of the book where Parzival actually hides his money, because when he gets the cloak from Anorak, he basically becomes... Oh, it's been out for fucking 12 years, man. It's been out for 12 years. When he gets the cloak from Anorak...
You say that, but I'm pretty sure HB may not have read it from his comment.
HB, go and read it.
He can't get it. That's the point. He literally can't get it.
I know. So, spoiler alert, when Parzival gets the cloak from Anorak, he basically becomes almost invincible. I mean, whatever. But he basically spends his time grinding and making money to build up his resources, to basically make sure that if he actually comes across anybody in the PvP areas, because there are PvE areas and there's also neutral zones in the book, but if he's making sure that if he comes up against somebody in the PvP areas, that he will not be killed, because in the Oasis, when you die, you fucking die and you lose. You go back to square one, 0. Have to go back to, unless you have an insurance and or whatever. But
so as far as Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse, right? And this may be a hot take, it may not. I'm not sure whether or not someone much cleverer than me must have thought of this, right? I think that when and I'm saying this literally, when the true metaverse appears, and it will have to happen, whether it becomes like a super version of VR chat or something that has the ability to travel to different worlds and spaceship your way through a universe and everything like that, or whether or not it's fully, made from a commercial standpoint, doesn't matter. The true metaverse will be all inclusive. And what I mean by all inclusive is for every single piece of software to be able to connect to one another. And here is what I think is going to happen. Facebook, and I'm calling them Facebook rather than Meta, because it makes this sentence sound better. Facebook will have the meta, and I mean literal with actual quotation marks, metaverse, that will be a part of the actual metaverse. You'll be able to step through a door or land on a Facebook planet. You will be able to go to the Facebook galaxy, the meta galaxy, but that will be a part of the true metaverse, because the true metaverse, if it is owned and controlled by any one single entity, is fucked from the beginning.
And the perfect comment come from James Davis 911. Facebook wants to be IOI.
That's what I said to you a few weeks back.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that comment came up just as you were talking about it. So James Halliday's version of the metaverse was that he made this and he went, it's yours. Go and do everything you want, do anything you want. And there was like a legal agreement that nobody owned the metaverse. And that was the whole thing about the Easter egg and the Gunters and people looking, because the person who found the Easter egg, would be in charge of the metaverse, which the Oasis, which is why Sorrento and IOI were so determined to get to take control of it, because it was worth billions.
Well,
billions of dollars. Well, trillions.
It's worth everything, because the
crazy.
whole world is basically dystopian. Like, everyone jumps into the Oasis because they don't like the dystopia of it all. And yeah, fair enough. There are some decent arguments in the second book as to why that's a bad idea. And Artemis was never a real fan, even though she spent her entire life in the Oasis.
Yeah, but she didn't want the...
But I can understand that, because let's face it, we're becoming dystopia as fuck on a daily basis.
But also, I like my life outside of VR. So I get up in the morning, I go downstairs, have a big glass of water, there's my dog, open the door, dog's like, yes, because he knows what's going to happen. We go down the field, we throw the ball for half an hour, and he's knackered, and when he's had enough, he'll just run past me, and I'll go back to my house, I'll have a big cup of coffee, my breakfast, catch up on VR news on YouTube, and then I might go into my office and actually start playing virtual reality. Though, as you start to become a YouTube content creator, you realise you spend less time playing virtual reality and more time worrying about making content about virtual reality. But that's my life. I like my life outside of VR.
This is why I think augmented reality is where things need to head first. Like,
Jesus
virtual
Christ.
reality is a thing where you can actually live digitally. But I want to see more augmented reality. I want to be able to walk into my office with nothing on the walls and see posters and see playing videos and see a big old news screen of all of the different things that I want to have on there. So VR news, what's happening with games, what's happening with my family. I want to see everything that is important to me, but it just be a plain room. And I want everybody else with the AR glasses to be able to walk in there and see what I see.
Yeah. And again, so going back to the AR thing, so imagine if you had an airsoft site. If anyone doesn't know what airsoft is, it's basically paintball with little white BBs, but they're hugely accurate. These guns can fire 100 meters. So I was a massive big fan of airsoft. So imagine going to an airsoft site with AR glasses and playing a game of airsoft, but in AR. So you had real weapons, imaginary enemies that you could actually shoot, like, to me, that sounds amazing. Like, playing airsoft in AR in a real site, I'm waiting for that to happen. I'm waiting for that to happen. It's like Space Pirate.
Yeah, I know what you're about to say, but what I want to say on this one is actually I have a slightly better idea of what I would like from that airsoft example, okay? I don't want to play against AI in airsoft. I want to play against real people, but I want there to be NPCs. I want there to be real civilians that we have to protect, or real civilians that we have to evacuate, or real civilians that we have to find the terrorists within them. And because of the AR, you can change how you look for the game mode that you are playing. And for instance, no longer using like popper grenades, you could actually just have a digital thing that is coded to the AR headset that you throw that creates an AR explosion and actually registers as the damage on the people that it hits. That's what I would love to see.
Yeah, right. So start the company. I'm sold. I'll buy shares in that company.
The problem is that I just don't see enough of a market for it in this country. Like in the US, there are plenty of people, and I mean, you must follow the airsofters like Jet and a few other guys like that,
I
right?
do. Yeah,
Novrich.
There's plenty. Like, so Paradise Decay just made a really good point there. He says massive airsoft players do the camping weekends and night missions with fluorescent bullets. Yeah, so I've done like the whole. I've gone down to Catterick with I can't remember the company I went with, and we did the full. We turned up on the Friday. The game started on the Saturday morning, and the game didn't stop until the Sunday afternoon. So it was like a full 36-hour game, and it went through a full day-night cycle. So if you were out during the night, you had night vision, you had BBs that actually lit up for like tracers. You had a tracer unit on your gun. When you were firing, you could see where they were going. Obviously, tracers point both ways. Good military tactic there. So, yeah, again, like that airsoft thing in AR, that would be absolutely amazing. If you didn't have to have any of the shit. If you just had a gun that like registered that you were shooting and you had to reload, but it did the tracer thing.
PD's British as well, right?
Oh yeah, PD's British, yeah.
So what we're saying at this point is we're getting to a point where Rekin Krew actually needs to go and play airsoft together.
PD! If you haven't got right, I've got fucking loads of airsoft guns. I've got gas blowbacks. I've got Tokyo Maruis. I've got pistols. I've got all sorts of shit. So
I've never been airsofting, and I have wanted to go airsoft.
No, right? Years. Okay. The weekend you come up, that we do that.
We're now at 3 days.
Now at 3
that I come up to yours.
So you have to come up on Friday. You have to come up on Thursday. You have to come up on Thursday. Then we can have a drink on Friday. Then we can go airsoft on Saturday. We can do the pirate space thing on Sunday. Yep. And then you have to fuck off on Monday because my wife will probably be sick of you by then.
Oh, she'll be sick of me by Friday, mate. That's not the point. This is a guy's weekend.
Oh my God! Right, so we've gone so far. Oh no, we've covered everything. We've actually covered everything.
We've covered all the main subjects. What else has been happening? What else have we actually had in VR happening in the last couple of days?
PSVR 2.
That is still a thing that keeps on happening.
They're gonna miss the Thanksgiving window, and it's gonna release in 2023. But
is it? I didn't see this.
Oh yeah. Do you know this fucking factory that burnt down in India that had made all the chips for everything? Right. So this is a different story. My sister needed a new car, so we went out car shopping on Monday, and the guy was like, "You want a new car? Right, okay, this is the car you want." Took it out for test drive. Fantastic Hyundai i20, wonderful car. Ticked all the boxes. Right, okay, I want it in that spec and that colour. Right, September. What? Why September? Because that fucking factory burnt down in India. and now everybody is scrabbling because they made that one component that everybody needed, and nobody realized that everybody needed it.
Yeah.
And like, like everybody, Nvidia, Xbox, PlayStation, Apple, Samsung, all the car manufacturers. I don't know what the fuck it was. It must have just been like a little thing. But yeah, they fucked up. So weird. The guy from Hyundai, I was like, oh, is that the factory that burnt down in India? He was like, oh yeah. How do you know about that? I was like, because I'm a tech guy and I'm into VR and I'm into PC and I'm into graphics cards. And he was like, oh yeah, it's screwed the car industry over massively. They can't make enough of these things to put them in cars. They can make the cars. They can't get this component. So like September, my sister. How weird is that?
While you've been talking about that, I have been listening, but I've also just seen a news article that I am hugely interested in.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so...
He's going to take my legs away here, isn't he? He's done this on purpose.
No, it's possible. It's possible. It depends on... I have a feeling you might not be as hyped about this as me. Do you know what a Gundam is?
Is that like a big robot?
Oh shit! You're not going to be as excited about this as me.
I've heard of Gundam. It's a Japanese anime thing, isn't it?
Yes, it is a Japanese anime thing about giant fucking mech robots, right?
No, so I was right.
Yeah, no, you were right. The point is that if you had to ask that question, like, I grew up watching Gundam, okay? Gundam in every form. Specifically Gundam Wing, because that's what was on Toonami back in the day.
Right, stop, right? I am the guy that bought the console, the big fucking mech console for the Atari Jaguar, right?
Right.
Right. Now, this thing cost £125, right? And it was a proper full sticks, buttons, and it had an eject button that you had to flick up and press to eject. And if you didn't eject, you died and you lost your mech, right?
Okay.
So I was demonstrating this to my friends during one drunken party, and one of my mates just went click and fucking ejected me, and I lost a mech that cost me 10 to 20 hours, right? So don't talk to me about Gundam. But I don't...
Okay.
Okay. Right, sorry.
Specifically to the actual Gundam franchise and similar Namco Bandai franchises, okay?
Okay.
And unfortunately, they used the word metaverse.
Oh, God.
So the actual headline on VR Scout is Gundam Metaverse in development by Bandai Namco. Now, half of that headline actually intrigues me, and the other half makes me want to die.
Yeah.
But basically, what they're doing is they're doing popular IP. So it's not, although it's called the Gundam Metaverse, it's going to feature things such as Pac-Man, Soul Calibur, Dark Souls, and they're going to create like this mini sort of VR universe where all of these different IPs can connect and people can jump in order to enjoy all sorts of things from like concerts, movies, different like sort of shared experiences. If any of you have tried out, I'm not a weeb, but I'm not even sure if that's a derogatory term at this point. I think they may have owned that one. But I do enjoy my anime. I do love a bit of anime, and this is right up my street. Recently, there was a similar thing with Sword Art Online where they had an entire like celebration, and they had like VR concerts, and they had these VR experiences you could go do. You could experience these movies. They'd actually like retooled them so that they worked on 4 separate screens surrounding you, and that seems really cool. So if we're going to get things like that happening, once again, what I was saying earlier about the metaverse and how you were going to have the meta universe over in one section of it, and you were going to have it within the true metaverse, these are the sort of things that we need to start having created in order to then plug them in to the true metaverse later on so that we can come and experience these things.
Okay, so I'm not an MMO guy, right? And I keep hearing Sword Art Online.
Yeah.
So how much does that mean to you?
How much does what specifically?
Sword Art Online. How, like, as an MMO guy, how much if you could have Sword Art Online in VR, would that be
an actual full MMO
like,
to the letter of what Sword Online was saying?
Absolutely, because you just had a mangasm.
Right, so there.
So I just like before we start. I'm not right. I'm gonna look at the camera. I'm not an MMO guy, right? And I was like not interested in Zenith at all. And then I got access to Zenith, and I loved it. And Shuey was talking about Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online, and I didn't know what it was. And he was like, "You don't know what Sword Art Online is?" And when I looked into it, it's basically the ultimate MMORPG.
Yeah.
It is. They've done it so well. So, going back to my initial question, how much would you like?
So there are two parts to this question as far as I'm concerned, right?
Okay.
Or there are two parts to the answer, rather. The first one is the full dive immersion. Obviously, as VR players, we want full dive immersion.
Yeah.
And full dive in the context of Sword Art Online is that it basically reroutes your neural signals from your brain to your spine and everywhere on your body and transfer them in a digital world. So that everything you experience in that world is kind of like does it really exist? Because if I touch something, I can feel it. Well, that's just an electrical impulse kind of stuff, right? And we've spoken briefly about that before. Whether something exists, it's just a perception of your brain. And if you can hijack that, that's full immersion, full dive, right? So that's the first thing. Do I want full immersion, full dive technology? Hell yes, I do. 100%. I'm not the fittest guy, and my family tends to deteriorate pretty quickly from 55 to 60. So, yeah, I definitely want that technology where my brain is the only thing that matters and my body can fuck right off. Secondly, the actual world of Einkrad, which is the giant 100-story or 100-level tall palace, right? It's essentially a maze. You start at level 1, you defeat the boss, you go to level 2, and it opens up all the way through. Do I want something that would take me literal years in order to complete and I could live my life as part of? Yes, I do. I want something where I feel like I'm genuinely a part of two worlds. So I would have my real world, because at the moment, I stick on my headset, and although I can lose myself for a few hours, I don't feel like I'm a part of a separate world. I just feel like I'm still playing that world.
Yeah.
But I would love a system that genuinely gave me a new world to be a part of. Similar to what you were saying about Ready Player One with Wade Watts.
Yeah.
He had his online world and he had his real world.
But in Ready Player 2, when Halliday reveals the next generation, that's basically what you're looking for, where you are basically you switch off and you immersed. Do you understand? Yeah.
No, that's actually I am going to go out there and say it. I love Ernest Cline's work, including Armada. However, he definitely rips that concept directly from Sword Art Online, which is fine. Because he didn't just say, oh, yeah, this is a full dive immersion rig kind of thing. He actually had better ways of going forward with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%. Sword Art Online is the reason I think that I eventually went and bought a headset. Like, there's no conscious part of that. But it was only a few weeks prior that I had rewatched it for about the 6th time.
How far away are we
from full dive?
Think about what Gabe Newell said about neural interfaces and stuff like that, and he said it's only 10 years away. Oh,
The the problem is right. So we've spoken about this before as well, right?
We
You
have,
can
yes.
hijack a rat's brain. You can literally put a button directly into a rat's brain that will instantly give it an orgasm every time it's pushed, and that rat will press that button until it is dead. Okay. Now, we can already do that to an extent, but how much of the actual person is modified by that and how safe we can make it is a whole different kettle of fish, isn't it?
It is, because if you put a button in a man's brain that says he can have an orgasm till he died, like the human race will be fucking done in 20 years. Because every single man will be going, dead.
There'd be a lot of spare sperm going about, so maybe not.
So the way I the second book is more difficult than the first book because he's going into a different realm. He's basically saying that when you put the headset on, it's not your physical body moving, which is what's happening in Ready Player One. It's your mental brain moving. And you can only do this for 12 hours, and then you have to come out. So what Parzival was doing was he was going into the metaverse for 12 hours. He was coming out, and he was going to the gym. He was eating, then he was going to bed, then he was going straight back into the metaverse for 12 hours. That's unhealthy. As a human being, that's unhealthy. No, Okay.
Are you from a mental perspective or from a physical perspective? Because from a physical perspective, I understand it. From a mental perspective, I think reality is what you make of it with the impulses and the electrical impulses that you're given.
Okay, so we're going back to his relationship with Artemis, which broke down. Sorry, if you haven't read the books, you need to fucking read the books, but we're going to talk about it anyway. His relationship broke down, and he became obsessed. So he was in the machine for 12 hours. He would he would actually wake up. He would go to the gym. He'd go in the machine. He'd come out. He'd have something to eat. Go back in. He'd sleep. Do you see what I mean? He actually had that thing where he was physically removing his body hair so that it didn't interfere with his immersion.
Yeah, which I 100% get, because let's face it, right? If they offered you like a full haptic suit and they said to you that you had to beat your body, would you do it?
No, I wouldn't.
Really?
No. This is really weird, but like when I go to bed at night and I get into my bed, my wife rolls over and she puts her head on my chest. And she scratched my chest hair. She likes it. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe she's just a hair monster. I don't know. So
see, this is the thing. Is the only bit of me that I would struggle to remove is the beard. Generally, the rest of me can fuck off. Like every bit of hair from anywhere else on my body, beat the shit out of it. I don't care. I would rather have the immersion. And honestly, I'm not sure. Like, I'm not talking about just like B haptics level or OO level of that, but what I'm willing to give up for that level of immersion. Honestly, I think that is quite a high bar. Or a low bar, depending on how you view the question.
Yeah. I don't have kids, right? We decided not to have kids. So me and my wife have been together for a long time. So she accepts that I am a gamer and that I will play video games and it's now my job. So I'm going to say like Monday I'm streaming or doing the podcast. Tuesday I have to work up to 5 o'clock. Tuesday's date night. Wednesday I have off. Thursday I work all day. Friday I work all day. So this locking yourself into, as much as I enjoyed the game, as much as I enjoyed the book, I actually, in the second book, I actually pitied Parzival because he was kind of caught in a trap. he had to do what he did. You know, when he goes into IOI and
Yeah.
I kind of pitied him because his whole life then became about the metaverse, but it wasn't an enjoyable situation that he was in. He wasn't doing it for pleasure. He was doing it for other reasons, and he didn't have a choice. Now,
so here's the question, right?
Okay.
So if we're purely diving into the lore and the story of Ready Player One and Ready Player Two, ignoring the fact that without her, Ready Player One wouldn't have happened and IOI would have definitely won. If Artemis didn't exist for the purpose of Ready Player 2, would he have been in any way, would it have been a problem? Because that seems to be the only problem, is her.
yeah, actually, oh yeah, you're right.
Because he would have just been happy and a guy in the metaverse.
Yeah,
At
and
that point, he wouldn't have been pining after anyone.
No, he would have been happy in his mansion with his billions.
Yeah, just living his life.
Okay. Here's an interesting thing. Are you a fan of Big Bang Theory? Oh, jeez. Again, we split. We split again. So there's an episode.
Go first, and then I'll explain my answer.
There's an episode of Big Bang Theory where Sheldon gets his girlfriend Amy to watch Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, right? And they sit there, they watch this film, and like Sheldon is like, it's the most important film I've ever seen. And Amy at the end of it goes, oh, isn't it interesting that Indiana Jones had no effect on that film? And Sheldon goes, what do you mean? She says, well, the Nazis found the Ark of the Covenant. The Nazis took the Ark of the Covenant to the island, and the Nazis opened the Ark of the Covenant on the island, despite everything that Indiana Jones did. And she just shuts up, and Sheldon goes, ah! Because he realizes that Indiana Jones had no effect on the outcome of the film, apart from the fact that he was there at the end.
Hang on. Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
He had one effect on a very, very important part of the film that I think most people ignore. What is the ending to Ark of the Covenant?
Oh, no, right. So, sorry. What I mean is he had no effect on the film until the end.
He is the only reason the Ark of the Covenant ends up being put into that warehouse.
Right. So this is why you shouldn't talk.
Raiders is correct. Yes, well done.
Raiders. Yeah, sorry. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I do apologise. But yeah, so Indiana Jones has no effect on the film until the end, where everybody else dies except him, and then it goes into the Warehouse
13. If any of you have seen that show.
So, what we were originally talking about was Artemis's effect on Ready Player 2, and if you hadn't been pining over her. Then yeah, they would, like, the second book wouldn't have happened. If they hadn't, I don't know why did they even split up? I can't even remember. It was something fucking stupid.
Because she
oh, that's right. Yeah.
Once she'd seen what was happening, she saw the sort of what she thought was the inevitable end of the whole thing because of that new technology, and she wanted to live in the real world and help the real world, and that was the whole thing of her wanting to win the egg to begin with, was because she wanted to be able to feed the starving millions.
That's right, because she was very rich, wasn't she? Yes, I remember.
She was an altruist, was the thing.
Yeah. Philanthropist, altruist. Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg is not an altruist in any way, shape, or form. That
Bill
guy
Gates?
is
Bill
not,
Gates?
is narcissism incarnate.
Yeah. I'm not stating or unstating anything that you've said, but at the moment my Facebook account is banned. So I am saying that I love Facebook. Please reinstate me.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll still be the voice of critique.
Until it happens to you. Okay.
I have a question for you then. Right, we've gone pretty hard into Ready Player 1 and Ready Player 2 tonight.
Okay.
There is a piece of technology in Ready Player 2, and it's kind of the point of the whole book, but there is a part of that technology that I think is actually truly phenomenal, and I want to know what your opinion of it is.
Okay.
And the technology I'm talking about is the ability to live other people's memories.
Oh, right. This is brilliant. There was a film. I have to look it up. There's a film, and it was Academy Award winning film, and it was done by
Academy Award winning.
It was Academy Award winning. Oh crikey! See, if I was like my wife, I could just say to her, "What was that Academy Award film that about the 2000s?" And she'd have said, "Oh, blah blah blah." Oh my god! Oh, basically, what happened was you wore these squids on your head, and they recorded your memories. And then anybody else who had this implant could then relive your memories. So what happened was somebody got murdered while they were wearing the squid.
Clueless Dad Gamer says, was it Brainstorm?
No, it wasn't Brainstorm. It was a... Oh, God.
This is going to make for a very interesting editing session.
It is. Hold on.
It's definitely not Total Recall.
No, it isn't. It was around the millennium. Oh, God, it had... Who was the sergeant?
Yeah, so Hoary Sheet Show says they call it a brain dance in Cyberpunk 7.
Yeah, exactly.
That is basically what we're talking about.
Yeah, basically you put the squid on your head and you recorded what you were feeling. So a lot of it was like shagging gorgeous prostitutes, and then you would share these things. But what happened was somebody got murdered, and it was somebody really important. And then this memory got out, and it had Ralph Fiennes in it. It had the guy from Saving Private Ryan who played.
I'm start searching while you're talking.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to actually look up. Right, so it was the guy who played the sergeant in Saving Private Ryan. He was in it, and his name was. Fuck off! Not now. Right. Okay. Right. Sorry. Apologies, people. This is really important. Saving Private Ryan. No, not Saving Private Ryan. Fuck's sake. Okay, so
while Mac is trying to reminiscence?
No, wait. Tom Sizemore. Okay, Tom Sizemore. Films that Tom Sizemore were in. Hold on. It was a long time ago. Tom Sizemore's been in a lot of films. Did you know that when he was making Saving Private Ryan...
No, find the damn film, Mac.
No, while he was making Saving Private Ryan, Steven Spielberg said to him, if you start taking drugs again, I'm going to sack you and get somebody else to play this character. And he actually was clean for the whole time that he was making Saving Private Ryan. 2017. Fuck's sake, I've got a long way to go.
Grip Sim has said, greetings and salutations, Max. Sorry to hear about the Facebook nonsense. It angers me. Tell Chris I said hi.
Okay. We're going back to...
He's concentrating hard.
I am. No. Forgot. Tom Sizemore has made a lot of films, including Pearl Harbor. Oh, Natural Born Killers. No way. I didn't realise he was in that. Saving Private Ryan. Right, that was 1998. Oh my God.
Still one of my favourite movies.
Oh, oh my God. Pearl
Yeah, this is
Harbor.
the point where we need to start running adverts, Mac, while you're searching
You do.
IMDb.
Well, I tell you what, when you fucked off and I filled, you fill now.
Okay, so the reason that I was so... why I love this technology so much is not because I want to experience other people having sex, although obviously I'm going to, because porn, that's the new porn industry. As soon as that comes out, because it's no longer about watching people having sex, it's about being the person having sex. What I am most interested about that piece of technology is that memory isn't just made up of images. It's not just made up of how you remember feeling something. It's not just, in the porn case, it's not you remembering having the hard on and having sex. There's so many other things. There are so many other things that come into play. There is emotion, there is smell, there is sight, there is taste. Everything informs that particular memory.
Absolutely.
And as part of that, where that actually goes is that I want to experience how a person felt when they were at their worst as well as when they were at their best, because I want those experiences. Because in my opinion, and this is going maybe a little too philosophical, in my opinion, we only have one go around.
Absolutely.
And therefore, life is only what you experience during those 70 to 80 years. Fingers crossed, because my family don't live that long. 70 to 80 years. So I want to experience as much as possible. And because I am a lower, or I'm a sort of working class white guy in the UK, in the pandemic, in Europe during wartime, to an extent, possibly more or less going forwards, I want to be able to experience those things. And VR is one of the things that is allowing me to do that. I can go and visit the Grand Canyon to an extent. I can go and visit different Japanese cities to an extent. I can't afford to do all that shit right now. And I definitely can't afford to do all that shit as well as the other shit. So being that technology is probably more important that happens before I die than any other form of technology. The ability to experience others' lives through their brain.
Right. I have done a lot of things in my life, right? I was in the army. That was interesting. I raced downhill mountain bikes all over the world: France, Canada, UK. There's one thing that VR can't do, and it's the fear of physical harm. That's what we're missing. Like, for example, I had a race when I was in France, Alpe d'Huez, called the Mega Avalanche, and I crashed my mountain bike about 30 minutes into the race in a boulder field and broke my femur, and didn't realise I broke my femur. And I got my bike up and I was like walking out, and the guy said to me, "You need to sit down." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Don't, just sit down." I was like, "All right, okay, sit down." And he called in the helicopter, and I got casevaced off the mountain because I'd broken my femur. And when I looked down, my thigh was literally like that big. My thigh was like that big because I'd snapped my femur. So, as good as VR is, and as good as the haptics are, and as good as everything you can experience, you lack the fear factor. You lack the actual physical harm factor of being involved. So what I like is the Star Trek holodeck thing, where you can say, actually, you can get hurt, but there is a limit on how badly hurt you can get. So when you're in there with your Klingon baklava, and that's like a cake, but was it the baklav? And you're fighting, and you get a wound, like, fuck. You feel the pain, but there's a limit to what you can feel. There's a... Can you see where I'm coming from? There's a lack of...
Yeah, no, there is a lack of fear, and when I'm in VR, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, whether I'm parachuting, whether I'm gliding over a city, whether I'm digging underground, which I'm pretty sure we've spoken about before.
Yeah.
Potholing, fuck no, right? But I'd go potholing in VR.
I don't think I would. I don't think I would. As brave as I am, I like enclosed spaces and water. Fuck that shit. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do that?
Work, he literally goes cave diving.
Strange days, right?
Yeah,
Jamie.
No, I was gonna come back to this.
Yeah.
Mike GC has been shouting "strange days, strange days, strange days." I did see it, but I didn't want to interrupt Max flow. So thank you, Mike. Appreciated.
Sorry, dude.
Because Mike was saying he does downhill racing and stuff as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The thing that, going back to that piece of technology, though, yes, you do miss the fear factor. So that would be a compelling thing, like being able to experience that side of the actual fear of possibly hurting yourself. But what I'm most interested in, other than just the experiences, is the understanding. I am never going to understand how, say, a woman feels about fear when she's walking down the street late at night. I am never going to understand how a trans person feels in their life. I am never going to understand how it feels to be a black person in Middle America.
Oh,
I am never going to understand so many of these things that this type of technology, this virtual type of technology, would allow me to experience.
Okay, yeah, okay. That's a complete different... See, I was taking it from the fear perspective and like pushing yourself, but like there's no chance of like actual death. So that what you said there, that the trans or a black person in like the deep south, that's really interesting. That's really interesting.
Can you imagine, right, if every, just as an example, and this is not me trying to be stereotypical, and I apologize if anybody is slightly offended by this, especially if you live in the South and are Caucasian, okay? Imagine if the Caucasian people who are particularly racist in the South, imagine if they had access to be able to experience what it felt to actually be a black person and have those memories and experience through them how that felt and how that would bring the whole of humanity together. If everybody could understand where everybody was coming from, there's no need for there to be misunderstanding.
Yeah, you've gone a bit profound there, because like I've been all over the world, right? I've been everywhere. I've been to China, I've been to South America, I've been to Cambodia, whatever. Been to Vietnam. The thing that I've realized most about this world is that people that you meet, doesn't matter what country you're in, they're just nice. People are nice, right? It's not us, it's the government that cause problems. I've been to China. I've got friends who are in China to this day. I've been to Cuba. It was incredible. One of the best days of my life was in Cuba. We went to Havana. They said, don't turn right out of this bar, and we turned right, and it was just one of the best days of my life. We just met Cubans, and they were just normal, funny, lovely, as people are. Anywhere you go, doesn't matter where you go. You can go down to the middle of Ipswich, you can meet the same people. You can go to Durham, you can meet the same people. You can go to Newcastle, you can meet the same people. You can go to Beijing, you'll meet the same fucking people. They're just people. They're just nice. They're like interested in what you're doing. They're interested in what you're saying. The more foreign you are, the more interested they are in you. It's
So we've gone incredibly
We've
gone through a lot of different subjects tonight, and we have gone pretty profound and philosophical on a lot of this. And I know that at least half of this podcast hasn't been direct VR stuff.
No, it hasn't. It's been talking about stuff that's going on in the world.
It's been talking about stuff, yes. And I think a lot of that is partly because I obviously had to interrupt for my job, and there's just too much stuff going on in the world right now that is a distraction.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw a post from Mike from VRO today that was the classic meme of the boyfriend looking around at another girl's ass with the girlfriend next to him, with
exactly
like VR players today, and it was
versus
like
flat
the
screen
other
players.
guy, it was like Elden Ring and Gran Turismo and something else, and I was just like, I don't feel that way generally. Like, I just don't play. Like, I couldn't play VR yesterday at all because Quest is my only VR headset. I didn't actually want to play flat screen. I went through my entire Steam library. I went to my Nintendo Switch. I went through several things, and you know what? I didn't fancy playing a single one. What I wanted to play was Knock. What I wanted to play was jumping on Onward and trying to hunt down terrorists. What I wanted to do was play Blade and Sorcery and stab someone in the face and feel like I'm stabbing them in the face. In fact, yesterday I wanted to do that on Blade and Sorcery more than any other day I've had so far.
And you wanted Mark Zuckerberg to be the face that you stabbed.
Yeah, no. I wasn't quite that. I wasn't quite that far gone yesterday. There were several times where I was walking around the house, and my house was empty yesterday. My dog got a bit afraid because occasionally I would get so pissed off, I would just shout "fuck Facebook" at the top of my lungs.
Yes, my dog does that, and he goes into his crate, and you're like, "Oh no, I'm really sorry." Right, so
Here's a question, right?
Okay.
Unless you've got something big you want to talk about.
Quickly. No, go.
This is a quick one, and it's for you, but it's also for the chat specifically. What do you call non-VR games?
Anything flat screen.
You call them flat screen. Okay.
Yeah, Pancake.
I know that, so D1360VR said, and three, I assume that's meant to be Pancake games. Now, I call them Pancake games because I understood that was kind of like the typical lingo in the VR community for non-VR games was Pancake games. And there's even a streamer collective called VR and Pancakes, I think, as like a parody of it, I assume anyway. But I've always so like PD, he said he calls them Pancake games.
Yeah.
So I've heard people like HB, he just calls them non-VR games. Paradise Decay calls them Pancake games. You call them flat screen games.
Yeah.
I was just interested because I actually had a comment on one of my YouTube videos the other day where I had mentioned Pancake games, and the guy was just like, "Don't call them Pancake games. Call them flat screen games. You sound like an idiot." Fine. I don't care about your opinion, mate, as far as that's concerned. But it was just an interesting thing to me because I like the idea of Mac in VR. I was told by Mike Nathy that I started the term Pancake games. Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Came
from Paradise. It's your fault. It's your fault. No, I
like that there's community lingo.
Paradise, I call them Pancake. I call them Pancake games. That's just it. I don't. Oh no, sorry, I do. I've been playing Halo. Sorry, I've been playing a lot of Halo Infinite. My wife bought me the Xbox controller, the posh one. What's it called?
Oh, the Elite controller.
Oh, yeah. My wife bought me the Elite controller V2 for Christmas because she knew I love Halo. And she also, this is how much I love my wife, she also got me a subscription to Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
So I can basically play Halo on my phone. So I've been doing a lot of that. Please don't hate me. As soon as the VR mod comes out, I'm sure I'll play through Halo Infinite again. But, So good.
It's all right. It's not VR though. It's the same thing I said to Matteo. Is it 31311
Yeah,
or something?
yeah.
Because he's obviously been recovering recently from surgery. If you're watching at any point, dude, get well soon. Especially with everything that's going on. But he said, like, obviously he can't play VR games after his surgery very well, so he's been playing Elden Ring and things like that. And my response to that was, Pancake games are the equivalent of methadone to a heroin addict. It's all very well and good to try and curb that need for it, but at the end of the day, everyone still joneses for the real thing, and that is VR.
Yeah, it is VR. And I'm gonna say this because, like, I did a stream of the Gunman Contracts Halo Half-Life Alyx mod, and that was so good. Oh my god, that was so good. Like, I've got a decent PC, so it can run it at, like, you know, I'm sorry, Shuey, I know you're running off a laptop, and yeah. I'm sorry, but I've got a decent PC. Gunman Contracts, the Half-Life Alyx mods, it was fucking incredible.
I played it. I just can't record it at the same time because my laptop sets ablaze.
Yeah, exactly. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, going back and watch the live stream. Jesus, like, graphics, mechanics, everything. Like, Half-Life Alyx is so. Half-Life Alyx is so far ahead of everything else that's been done in VR. If you haven't had a chance to play it, go and play it, and then you like pick up something and it's got fingerprints on it, and you can see the fingerprints. If you move whatever you're holding in your hand, you can see fingerprints on it. That's why Valve should own the metaverse.
Correct. Your 2080 is $1,500, maybe pounds.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure where Mike's from.
$1,500 probably. Yeah. Still.
This is why PCVR is a dying system.
Okay, right. So we need to address this. So the Quest. No, we do. The Quest.
Yep.
The Oculus Quest costs £300, and like, I've got one. Here it is. Right.
Your nice paperweight.
My paperweight. Right. £300. Elite strap, £120. VR cover, £30. So we're talking about what? £500, such and such. Bricked by Facebook. Fucking bricked by Facebook. I can't use it. I love this thing. It's so good. Virtual desktop with Oculus Quest 2 and a decent PC is the best thing that's happened to VR. Can't use it.
I just had the weirdest sort of flash. You know when you have one of those really dark fantasy type things go through your head, and it's just you taking that outside round the back with a shotgun. I'm sorry, Yella! And just putting a buckshot straight through the face of it.
No!
So, yeah. PCVR is shitty expensive. What was that?
Oh, for fuck's sake. He's the fucking long one.
Okay, we can still hear Mac, but he doesn't appear he can hear us. So, yeah, I think he's lost his headphones. Or is he back? Can he hear us now?
You're not gonna believe my fucking headset died.
No, that's what I thought happened. Can you hear me now?
I can, yeah.
Yep, cool. Right. Carry on.
This, right, so people don't understand this. Like, they spent so much money on this, it's fucking incredible. £300 headset. It's not a £300 headset. It's a £600 headset because you have to do this, you have to buy that, you have to buy that, you have to buy the headphones that go with it. So it's not a £300 headset, it's a £600 headset. But it's amazing. And that's the problem. It's so good for £300 that you can't beat it. So anybody that gets into VR has to buy one of those. They have to, and then they have to sign up to Facebook, and then they have to sign up to Facebook, and they get the fucking situation that I'm in, where my Facebook account's been deleted, or they get the same situation that you were in yesterday, where Oculus just accidentally deleted 500 million users, which is what happened.
The thing, right? Here's the thing that really annoyed me, and it lasted for about 40 seconds. Okay, yesterday my Oculus account stops working, and I'm like, oh man, I had knock footage to record, I had Alvo footage to record, I had Virtuoso footage possibly to record. Like, I had several game keys that I'd promised that I was going to get reviewed or at least look into yesterday. And when I was down about that and unhappy about it, and there was nothing I could do about it, my brain then said, oh, well, at least I have PCVR still. And then I literally picked up my headset, put it on, and realized that Virtual Desktop is an app that I have purchased through Oculus.
Yeah.
So the hardware was useless to me.
Yeah.
Same as it is to you.
Welcome to my world. 15 days now. 15 days.
Because
15
if you could still
days.
use it for PCVR, right, you wouldn't be as pissed off, would you?
No, I'll be honest, like, my Facebook account is like, I'd like it back because it's like my memories. The thing that annoys me is that this, the fucking strap keeps popping off. This is now denied to me, right? And I've got stuff down here. I've got a very expensive router, which I was planning on making a video about, and it's been sat there for 2 weeks. That's £500 worth of router. £500 worth of router that I was going to make a video about, and I can't do anything about it because I can't get onto my Quest.
I just want to go over a couple of bits that were said in the chat, mainly from one person, actually. So we've got someone in the chat called Luke Irwin.
Okay.
First of all, he said that I remind him of Tomska. Now, I didn't know who Tomska was. Tomska? I went and looked at him. Apparently, he's a very, very famous YouTuber with 7 million subscribers.
Yeah.
He does like comedy skits and stuff.
That's definitely him. It's definitely him.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go and watch him and see why I remind you of him. But sure. The other thing he said is, have you ever played the Jedi Knight games? I personally would love to see a VR mod for those games. I think there is one in production.
I think there is.
I keep seeing one.
Yeah.
There is. There's the other one that I spoke about the other week, which is currently in production as well. Which was, I can't remember the name of it now. That's really going to bother me. But I'm pretty sure there is a Jedi Knights game in production for VR currently.
Yeah.
Not in production, but they're modding it, I think, or recreating it, one or the other. It is, but it's a remaster. Is that not a problem?
No, I saw it today. I saw a video today. I can't remember who made it.
That's
so annoying. Good. Yeah, it is. Not an experience, mind, a game. Not experience, a game. I don't want fucking half an hour of shite. I want a game. I want.
What if it's half an hour of amazement though?
No,
Dark Forces was the other one. Thank you, Clueless.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Clueless. Yeah. Like, half an hour of amazement. Yeah, that's an experience, isn't it?
I don't mind that to an extent.
I hate that to a very big extent.
Okay, then. Well, what about games that are only 4 hours long?
Oh no, right. So don't get me wrong. I'm not hitting on like the Star Wars games. Like if somebody says to me it's an experience, I'm like, I have to temper my expectations. So like Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is a game, right? And there's like 10 to 20 to 30 hours depending on what you want in that game. The Star Wars games so far have all been experiences. Like an hour, half an hour, hour and a half, whatever.
You say that, but Tales from the Galaxy's Edge was a lot longer, but it was still an experience. It wasn't a good game.
But it was fucking shit. That's the problem.
Yeah,
right,
no,
so,
yeah.
Okay, so, question then. Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett?
That's not a VR question, but...
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It isn't. It isn't. But Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett? Answer.
Does it have to be a one or the other, or can I answer with a better, with a more sort of informed answer?
Okay. Right.
The answer.
Question. Right. No. Question.
Okay.
Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett? Answer.
Oh, it has to just be one or the other.
It has to be one or the other, right? So
Okay,
this is like taking away. This is taking away all of your childhood fantasies and everything that happened to you.
No. That's fine. That's fine. I will, as in the show, or yeah, it has to be the show. You gave the show name. Okay. It is Mandalorian, but I don't consider the Book of Boba Fett to be anything but Mandalorian Season 3.
Right. So the thing about the Book of Boba Fett was, the best thing about Book of Boba Fett was when the Mandalorian turned up in episode 5 and did 2 episodes of the Mandalorian and then went into the Book of Boba Fett. So basically the Book of Boba Fett was 4 episodes of Boba Fett, 2 episodes of Mandalorian, and then a final episode of Boba Fett. Because
see, the thing, I didn't want there to be any Mandalorian in Book of Boba Fett whatsoever. I wanted it to be a whole separate thing.
But they did the Tatooine thing with the Timothy Olyphant as the sheriff. They kind of had to do that.
No, they could have just had him as a character. That was just like, oh yeah, you're that guy that stole my fucking armor.
Yeah. I think what happened is they wrote.
Where did this come from?
Right.
How did we get onto this?
I've got no idea. So they wrote the Book of Boba Fett and they realised it wasn't going anywhere. So they put the Mandalorian in 4 and 5, or was it 5 and 6? I can't remember. So as far as VR goes, and that's obviously what we're more interested in. If that was a TV series, it would have been those short episodes of the Star Wars. This is what I can't. They haven't made a Star Wars game yet. They need to make a Jedi Republic. They need to make a. Do you see what I mean? Oh God, my
Republic
words.
Commando would have been pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So, or like Star Wars, the fighter pilot game thing that it did. That was amazing. Oh, that was. I made a video about that, and I actually fucking proper freaked out because I was sat in a TIE fighter, and as I took off, it made the noise. Like, that is a Star Wars game. Right? The Star Wars experiences they're making in VR are fucking shit. Star Wars Squadrons was amazing. because you were like in an X-wing, you were in an A-wing, you were in a Y-wing, you were in a TIE fighter, you were in a whatever, and it was incredible. The problem with that is I was the worst fucking pilot in the whole world. If you're going to make a Star Wars game, I want to be Obi-Wan. I want to be Luke. I want to be, Grogu.
I want to be C-3PO. I want to be C-3PO. I want to be like
serving drinks
useless and just wandering around complaining at people, because that's basically what I do in games anyway.
But do you see what I mean? It's like, if you're going to make a Star Wars experience, a fucking game. Like Star Wars Squadrons was a game. It was amazing. You had this amazing single player experience. You had this amazing multiplayer experience. All the Star Wars games that have been made in VR have been shit experiences.
Yeah, and this is why we're getting mods and remakes and things from the community, not from Lucas Labs.
Yeah. So I did the full Dr. Beef Doom 3 thing on the Quest, and that was incredible. It was incredible.
Yeah, Dr. Beef is an absolute genius, man.
My God.
That team is just so good.
And they've done so much. So if you don't know about it, you can go on SideQuest and you can download the Dr. Beef version of Doom 3. But you have to own it through Steam, I think.
Right, here's the thing. The way that they have done it in the most legal way possible is that you need to own it through Steam, and all of their tutorials on how to get it working is using that system. I'm not going to tell you that there are other ways of doing it. Wink.
There are. But
I own Doom 3 on Steam, because who doesn't own Doom 3 on Steam? It's like 99p 99% of the time.
Exactly. That's the thing, right? It only cost me, I think it only cost me like £2 to buy Doom 3. And then I got the Dr. Beef download from SideQuest and into my Quest 2. But I was like playing wirelessly. I was like standalone, wireless.
Yeah, because the Android is more than enough machine in order to play it.
Yeah. And it was amazing. I mean, I got so far through it, and unfortunately, I'm now denied access to my Quest 2.
Oh, it's even worse, because Quake 3 Arena is available, and I really want to play that with you as well.
Mark Zuckerberg, please.
Anyway, I think we need to end things there. I think things have gone severely off track tonight. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think we've had enough of possibly not necessarily VR stuff tonight.
How did we get here? My list has been ticked off right on my book, and then about an hour ago we went off on a fucking tangent. So yeah, I agree. So. Podcast might be moving to Monday.
Yeah, we will discuss it and we will make sure everyone knows.
Yeah. Thursday's going to be streaming the game that's going to be released.
A lot of mini golf.
Thursday's going to be streaming the games that are going to be released on the Thursday. And, well, hopefully I'll get my Facebook account back.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man.
Fuck.
We need you to get that shit back. There are too many things that we need to play still.
There are. Walkabout Mini Golf is very high on the list.
Cool. Right. Let's finish it up.
Okay.
Rekin Krew, it's been a fucking pleasure as always.
It has. We love you. So what we're going to do now, we're going to end the stream professionally. So, I've been Mackin VR. You have been. And we're going to end the stream right.
Magic.